quote from Dan Price. He's a Wimba Pronto user from Lawrence Technical University, and he's talking about meeting the needs of student services with Pronto. Annie, do you want to play the role of Dan?
Sure. Using Wimba Pronto for virtual advising has been great, especially the amount of time it has reduced from my workload. Using Pronto increases the clarity and efficiency and just makes it easier for everyone.
So it's interesting, from Dan's perspective, before he was using Pronto, he had difficulty scheduling time to meet with all of his students as an advisor. But now, by meeting virtually via Pronto for advising, he's showing them a roadmap of their academic careers at LTU. He's showing them with prerequisite courses and necessary courses. So he's got an individual roadmap for each of them that he's working with on a continual basis. And quoting him, he says, "Seeing is understanding." So he makes the slides available for the students, and he visually displays it to each of those students. He reports higher retention and shorter paths to graduation for the students. He talks about less frustration. He says they don't have to visit different LTU websites to learn about their career path. He talks about doing it all in one place with his students. And he even advises when he's on the road, which he really appreciates based on efficient use of his time. So we've talked about the pressures on students and their expectations. Now how about the pressures on all of you folks? So if you look at these and you think about what you're faced with right now, it's cutting costs while maintaining service, it's increasing revenues without sacrificing quality, it's increasing capacity without increasing plans. As you look at this, how many of you would say you're faced with two or more of these issues right now? Yeah, so many people are feeling these pressures, and no wonder that we're all tired and stressed about trying to meet these pressures, again, particularly considering the backdrop of our economy. So with Wimba, we think that we can help you with each of these challenges, and I'd like to talk about a few interesting examples that both emphasize these points as well as the points I was making earlier in terms of the kind of students that you can be considering as you're thinking about the application of Wimba on campus. So this first is the Idaho Digital Learning Academy. Traditionally, the teachers throughout Idaho had to drive up to 8 hours one way to participate in professional development seminars. But with the budget shortfalls in the state, travel time, like most people are faced, cut significantly for them. So in addition to saving dollars on travel, gas, and time out of the office, they found that their online attendance also increased. So this is a K-12 professional development example here. Donna Hutchinson, the CEO of the Idaho Digital Learning Academy, she talks about having a statewide impact on issues like measurable reduction in travel costs, increased opportunity and access to information, increased professional development opportunities statewide, and reductions in lost instructional and administrative time. So both academic as well as administrative benefits for them. Another great example is the San Diego State University about increasing capacity while decreasing costs. So this is talking about the business of education while we're focusing on improving quality of education. So for them, offering a basic computer science class for students in the engineering department to give them a simple baseline understanding of coding. This is a class in a computer lab, maximum 25 students per class. They realized, though, that the requests for this class were constantly growing, but they had a problem in terms of an additional lab would cost them $45,000 for the equipment, and they also had to hire an additional lecturer. So instead, what they decided to do was to use the Wimba classroom and let their students access the lab while using the application sharing for instruction. So without having to purchase new computers or hire a new instructor, they were able to triple enrollment. Great access model. They also saved $45,000 in hardware costs and $30,000 in additional instructor time. So it's a nice model to consider. It's the cost issue, it's improving access issue, and giving more students opportunity. Tripling enrollment, a nice thing to think about. And that's an interesting thing to consider when I was talking earlier about you've got your face-to-face students in classrooms. Imagine that if the students didn't have to come to the physical classroom every day of the week, but you could increase the enrollment by allowing them to participate both online as well as in class. Another example about retaining and supporting faculty, Christina Golick, graduate teaching assistant and university supervisor at Kansas State University's Department of Elementary Ed. She knew that her students were deriving tremendous value by using Wimba Classroom for their math methods course for elementary school teachers. So in the fall of 2008, Christina, who normally taught classes face-to-face, found she was frequently traveling for conferences, but she was able to successfully teach her classes live online with Classroom while she was on the road. So she didn't miss any class while she was out traveling. This is Brian Vandeveer, multimedia specialist He's trained over 1,000 faculty members in the use of Wimba solutions, and almost all of them are using Wimba to complement their face-to-face classroom instruction. So again, this is the model I was talking about earlier about how to use Wimba for your mainstream students on campus, but support that through the use of our applications. So let's take a minute to talk to Annie and have her show us some of the Wimba Voice applications.
So Wimba has always understood that faculty time is best spent teaching and supporting students and in researching and writing. So administrative tasks should be really kept to a minimum so to keep them focused on what they're there for to begin with. That's why we've always tightly integrated with the course management system. And with Wimba Voice, we've made that integration with the course management system even tighter with a gradable discussion board. Not there yet. Wimba Voice was originally developed to support teaching languages online. In fact, many of our customers tell us they would not be getting any revenue for their online instruction for foreign languages if it were not for Wimba. But today, Wimba Voice is actually used across campus, whether it be for creating podcasts or just having a voice discussion in any discipline. So I'm going to take a few minutes to demonstrate this new capability. We're going to go into Blackboard 9. So we have a demo here. We're going to enter the voice discussion board.
How many of you are voice customers? Wimba Voice? Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, great. So you'll really like it.
So the only thing we've changed from the settings perspective, so you don't have to really learn anything new, is down here at the bottom, we have a grade option and point possible. So all you have to do now is fill that in, decide how much you want to weight that, and then when you're in that voice discussion board, your option here to grade the board, you'll see this interface pop up with a high-level kind of view of who's in the course, who's made posts to this voice discussion board. From a high level, you can see how many posts, and the average length of those. And now if you want to go in and actually listen to them, you can do it two ways. You can first go through the open voice discussion board area, and this is something hopefully you'll like. You can now filter by user. So if I wanted to go and just listen to short rounds, so I have to apologize for the Indiana Jones references. They're a little all over the place here. So if I just wanted to see his post, I would filter on his name, and then I could choose continuous playback, listen to what he has to say, and then give him a grade. I can also enter that same interface just by clicking through any of these links. So very similar to the way Blackboard behaves with their discussion board. So if I wanted to go and see short round postings, I could click on his name and have that automatically filtered by him. And these grades then will automatically go to the grade center within Blackboard. So now Wimba Voice is hopefully even more satisfying and efficient for all of you to use.